There is a battle that no one sees, a war that doesn't make the headlines because it's not fought on a battlefield of blood and steel. It's fought right here, touch your heart, in the battlefield of the mind, in the silence of the soul. You can smile on the outside and still be bleeding on the inside. You can lift your hands in worship and still feel the weight of worry in your heart. You can post the picture where the smiles shake the hand, and yet deep down there's a storm raging that nobody knows about. But hear me when I say this: faith, real faith, not Sunday faith, not convenient faith, but tested faith is the weapon that wins that war. Because when your fear screams louder than your future, when your doubt tries to drown your destiny, when your past tries to pull you back, faith stands up and says, I will not die in this battle. I will believe my way through it. Somebody shout, faith wins the war within. The greatest battles are fought in silence, not in sight. You see, people often think the war is out there against the economy, the critics, the circumstances, the people who don't believe in us. But the truth is, the most dangerous battlefield is not outside of us, it's inside of us. It's that quiet place where no one can see your struggle, where the noise of your thoughts drowns out the voice of your faith. You can be surrounded by a crowd and still be fighting a war that nobody knows is happening. That's the war of the unseen, the war within, the war between what you know and what you feel, the war between who you were and who you're trying to become. It's not about bullets or blades, but about battles between fear and faith, doubt and destiny, insecurity and identity. You can look completely calm on the outside, but deep down, your spirit is wrestling to keep standing when everything around you screams to sit down. You don't post about this war. You don't tweet about it. It's not the kind of fight people applaud because no one sees it. You can be smiling, leading, serving, even preaching, and still be bleeding inside. You can encourage others while silently fighting for your own sanity. And that's where real strength is born, not in public applause, but in private endurance. The world celebrates what it sees, but God rewards what happens in the dark. Sometimes you win that war not by shouting, but by standing, not by moving mountains, but by refusing to move from your faith. Every time you get up when you feel like giving up, that's a victory. Every time you choose peace over panic, that's a victory. Every time you whisper, God, I still trust you, while your heart is breaking, that's a victory. Those are the silent wins that shape your soul and build your strength. You see, battles fought in silence are sacred. They refine you. They purify your motives. They teach you to rely not on applause, but on assurance, not on feelings, but on faith. Because faith doesn't need witnesses to be real. Faith doesn't need evidence to believe. Faith doesn't wait for things to change before it stands on what it knows is true. The greatest warriors are not always the loudest in the crowd. Sometimes they're the quiet ones who keep showing up, who keep believing, who keep holding on when nobody's watching. They fight their fears in prayer. They battle their doubts in worship, and they come out stronger, not because the war was easy, but because faith was enough. So when life feels heavy and you feel unseen, remember this: it's not the visible fights that define you, it's the invisible ones. The quiet struggles that nobody claps for are the very moments that heaven celebrates. because the greatest battles are not the ones fought before people. They're the ones won before God. And that's where faith wins the war within. Faith is not denial, it's defiance against defeat. Too many people misunderstand faith. They think faith means pretending everything is fine, smiling when you're hurting, or ignoring reality as if problems will disappear on their own. But that's not faith. That's fantasy. Real faith doesn't close its eyes to the storm. It looks the storm straight in the face and says, "You will not break me." Faith doesn't deny what's happening. It denies the problem the right to win. Faith is not pretending the mountain isn't there. It's choosing to believe that the mountain can move. It's not saying, "I'm not sick," when the doctor gives you bad news. It's saying, "This sickness will not have the final say." Faith doesn't erase pain, it endures through pain. Faith doesn't silence fear by pretending it doesn't exist. It silences fear by speaking louder, by declaring, "Even though I'm afraid, I still believe." Denial hides from reality, but faith stands in it. Faith doesn't say, "There is no fire." Faith says, "Even if I'm thrown into the fire, my God is still able." That's the spirit of defiance that faith carries. It refuses to surrender to what it sees because it's anchored in what it knows. It's that spiritual stubbornness that says, "I may be down, but I'm not defeated. I may be struggling, but I'm still standing. I may be crying, but I'm still believing." When the enemy throws everything at you, loss, rejection, delay, disappointment, faith doesn't fold, it fights back. It refuses to let defeat write the final chapter of your story. It stands up in the middle of brokenness and says, "I'm not done yet." Faith doesn't make the storm stop immediately, but it keeps you steady until it passes. Faith is that quiet strength that keeps you moving when logic tells you to quit. It's not the absence of trouble. It's the presence of courage in the middle of it. Sometimes faith will make you look foolish because you'll be believing for things that don't make sense. You'll be speaking victory while standing in the middle of a battlefield. You'll be praising God while the pain is still fresh. But that's what defiance looks like. It's when your spirit refuses to agree with defeat. It's when your heart says, "I still believe," even when your eyes can't yet see. Faith doesn't need proof to act. It acts and then proof follows. Faith doesn't wait for the conditions to be perfect. It believes that God can use imperfect conditions to perform a perfect plan. So don't mistake your faith for denial. When you're believing through tears, that's not weakness. That's warfare. When you're praying through pain, that's not pretending. That's perseverance. Faith is rebellion against hopelessness. It's the voice that rises in the valley and says, I will not die here. It's the fire that keeps burning when everything else goes dark. It's the divine defiance that declares, no matter what comes against me, my faith will stand and my faith will win. You can't conquer what you won't confront. Many people spend their whole lives running from the very thing that God wants them to overcome. We hide behind excuses, distractions, and denial because facing our fears feels too heavy, too painful, too real. But you can't heal what you keep hiding. You can't defeat an enemy you refuse to face. Every victory requires confrontation, not with other people, but with the truth, with yourself, and with the things that have been holding you hostage. Confrontation is not about conflict, it's about courage. It's about standing up to what has been standing over you. It's about looking that fear, that habit, that shame, that insecurity straight in the eye and saying, you don't get to control me anymore. The moment you confront it, you strip it of its power. What you won't face will always chase you, but what you face begins to lose its grip. Avoidance only feeds the problem. Confrontation begins the healing. You can't conquer anxiety if you never confront the thoughts that feed it. You can't conquer bitterness if you never confront the pain that birthed it. You can't conquer addiction if you never confront the emptiness beneath it. God can't bless what you're pretending doesn't exist. That's why faith doesn't just comfort you, it challenges you. Faith says, stop running, turn around, face it. Because faith believes that no matter how dark the situation looks, the power within you is greater than the problem before you. Confrontation takes honesty. You have to be willing to look at your own heart and admit what's broken. It's not weakness to say, I'm struggling, it's strength. Because when you bring truth into the light, darkness loses its control. Some people think ignoring their pain makes them strong. But ignoring it only makes it grow in silence. The real warriors are the ones who face their wounds and fight for their wholeness. When David stood before Goliath, he didn't deny the size of the giant, he just refused to be intimidated by it. He confronted it. He didn't hide behind the army or wait for someone else to act. He faced it head on, not because he was fearless, but because his faith was greater than his fear. The same God who empowered David empowers you to face your giants, the emotional ones, the mental ones, the spiritual ones. You can't conquer depression by pretending you're fine. You can't conquer doubt by avoiding prayer. You can't conquer sin by justifying it. You have to face it with truth and fight it with faith. So stop running from what God has called you to rise above. Stop avoiding what you know needs to be addressed. The pain of confrontation is temporary, but the cost of avoidance is permanent. The moment you stand up and face the thing that's been standing in your way, you step into freedom, because you can't conquer what you won't confront. But when you do confront it, victory is inevitable. Your belief must be louder than your burden. Every one of us carries something, a weight, a worry, a wound. Life presses on us, and sometimes that pressure feels unbearable. The burden can be a heartbreak that won't heal, a dream that seems delayed, or a battle that keeps coming back. But the difference between those who collapse under the weight and those who rise above, it is not the size of the burden, it's the strength of their belief. Because your belief must speak louder than the weight trying to silence you. When the pain starts shouting, faith has to whisper louder. When doubt tells you you'll never make it, your belief has to answer, watch me. When fear tells you it's over, your belief has to say, God's not finished yet. That's what it means to live by faith, to let your conviction outshout your condition. It's easy to believe when life is light, when the road is smooth, when everything seems to make sense. But real belief is tested when the load gets heavy, when your prayers seem unanswered, when you have to keep walking through uncertainty with nothing but trust to hold on to. The enemy's goal is always to magnify your burden until it drowns out your belief. He'll make you focus on how hard it is, how long it's been, how tired you feel. But faith flips the focus. Faith says, yes, it's heavy, but my God is stronger. Yes, I'm hurting, but I'm still here. Yes, I'm tired, but I'm not turning back. That's how you win, by letting your belief get louder than the noise around you. Sometimes belief doesn't sound like a shout. Sometimes it's just a whisper, quiet, I still believe in the middle of the night. But heaven hears that whisper like a roar. Every tear you cry in faith is a declaration that your burden won't break you. Every step you take when you feel weak is a victory march in the Spirit. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to believe louder than the doubt that tells you to quit. The burden is meant to bend you, not break you. It's meant to build your belief until it becomes unshakable. The weight you carry today might be the very thing that strengthens your faith for tomorrow. You might not see it yet, but every trial that tests you is training you to trust God deeper. Your belief doesn't remove the burden. It gives you the endurance to carry it until God removes it. So when you feel like giving up, remind yourself that belief and burden can't speak at the same volume. One will always silence the other. Let it be your belief. Let it rise above your pain, above your fear, above your frustration. Because when your belief becomes louder than your burden, no weight can crush you, no storm can shake you, and no struggle can silence the faith that lives within you. Victory starts inside before it shows outside. Every external triumph begins as an internal decision. Before a battle is ever won in the world, it's first won in the heart. Too many people chase outward success while losing the inner war of doubt, fear, and insecurity. But true victory is never about what you can prove. It's about what you can believe. It doesn't begin when the situation changes. It begins when your spirit changes. You don't have to see the outcome to know you're going to win. You just have to carry victory in your mindset before it ever manifests in your reality. You can't walk in victory with a defeated heart. You can't speak faith while thinking failure. That's why the war within is so crucial, because your thoughts shape your fight, and your attitude determines your altitude. If you think you're beaten, you already are. But when you start believing that God is still working, even in the unseen, that belief becomes your strength. The battle outside might still be raging, but peace begins to take root inside. And once peace is planted in your spirit, chaos can't uproot it. Victory is not about the absence of opposition. It's about the presence of confidence. It's about knowing that no matter what comes against you, greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. That's why before you ever win the external war, the struggle, the project, the relationship, the dream, you've got to win the internal war against giving up. You've got to defeat the voices in your head that say, you can't. You've got to silence the memories that remind you of every failure. You've got to replace those lies with truth, the truth that says, I am chosen, I am capable, I am called. When you start carrying victory inside, it changes how you walk. You stop begging for approval and start walking in assurance. You stop waiting for signs and start moving by faith. The same situation that used to shake you no longer controls you, because your victory is no longer tied to what happens. It's tied to who you've become. That's the kind of victory that can't be taken away. Every champion wins twice. first in their mind, then in the world. You can't expect to win publicly if you're losing privately to fear, bitterness, or unbelief. So take authority over your inner world. Train your thoughts to align with your purpose. Fill your heart with faith until it overflows into your actions, because what's inside will always flow outside. So when life gets heavy and it looks like everything is falling apart, remember, the real fight is not around you, it's within you. Win there first. Speak faith until your spirit believes it. Stand firm until your soul aligns with your destiny. Because the moment you decide within that you're victorious, everything outside has no choice but to follow. Victory starts inside, and when your spirit wins, your life will too. Here's a powerful T.D. Jakes-style conclusion for your entire speech. Faith wins the war within, designed to leave your audience stirred, inspired, and ready to rise. I came to tell somebody today, the real victory doesn't start in the world around you. It starts in the world within you. The moment you choose faith over fear, truth over torment, and belief over brokenness, you've already won the greatest battle of your life. You see, faith doesn't always change your situation right away, but it will always change you right away. And when you change, everything connected to you has to change. The storm might still be raging, but you'll stand stronger in it. The mountain might still be there, but you'll have the courage to climb it. Because faith doesn't wait for the conditions to be calm, it declares peace in the middle of the chaos. Every battle you've been through, every tear, every trial, every dark night, it wasn't meant to destroy you. It was meant to develop you. It was training your spirit to trust God when nothing made sense. And now, the war that once tried to break you is about to become the testimony that builds you. So stand up in your spirit, wipe your eyes, square your shoulders, and declare it with everything inside of you. My faith will win this war. You might be wounded, but you're still chosen. You might be tired, but you're still standing. You might be in the fight of your life, but you are not fighting alone, because the God who began a good work in you will finish it. The God who saw you in the struggle will bring you to the victory. The war within may be fierce, but the faith within is fiercer. And when faith stands up, fear has to sit down. So let this be your declaration. I will not lose to what's inside me. I will not let my doubt drown my destiny. I will not let my past poison my promise. My faith is my weapon. My hope is my strength. And my victory starts now. Because no matter what it looks like, feels like, or sounds like, Fafes Wans, T-E-Y, Te-Hi,